Howdy, everybody. My name is Josh Tutt, and I'm running for Texas State Senate District 18. So Senate District 18, after the maps are redrawn, is an 18-county district. It goes all the way from Burleson County, where I live with my husband, all the way down here to Rockport. Baca, Victoria, a little bit of Harris County, we've got an interesting state. It's a very interesting state district. It's a very rural district. Fortunately, I'm used to long roads. So I live in Burleson County, where we have a little vineyard together, and I drive 30 minutes to and from work and back. Like a lot of folks in Burleson, I'm one of the many commuters on that stretch of highway here, on Highway 60. I'm running for office because there are way too many spots on our ballot that are vacant. There are too many of our elected officials who get their seats back for free. Everybody here knows that our elected officials, time and time again, use their positions of power to do harm in our communities, or to neglect to do good that they could. My dad taught me one lesson that stuck out more than anything. It was to do not withhold good from others when you have the power to act. When I woke up cold with my dad in my own house last February, I thought to myself that I am somebody, and somebody ought to do something about this. So I'm running for office to do something about this. I'm not just running for office to oust my opponent. Senator Lois Colthurst has more than 20 years of legislative history. She's a career politician at this point, with $1.7 million sitting in her campaign account that she's not putting back into our local economy, but is instead sitting on that, thinking that she's going to get her 12th election for free. And I'm here to make sure that she's got a challenge. What I am running for is I'm running for the things that we deserve, because we deserve better, and we can do it. We deserve investments in our rural infrastructure. We deserve well-funded public education, not just paying our teachers, but they deserve so much to have adequate paycheck. But we also need to make sure that our retired teachers are getting the benefits that they earn, that the support staff are there to support the teachers in their role, and that we're funding the supplies and the technology that they need to make sure that our schools and our students are receiving the best possible opportunities. And then we need to expand healthcare access in Texas, especially in rural Texas, where we're experiencing the highest rate of rural hospital closures of any state, and we have the highest rate of uninsured citizens of any state. We can fix that. As some other candidates have mentioned, we can fix that by expanding Medicaid, accepting those federal funds, bringing our tax dollars back home to Texas. And we use that to make features like telehealth services that made it easier for folks in rural communities to access their primary care, mental health resources, and make that permanent. So those are some of the things that I'm fighting for. I'm a voting rights activist. I testified against House Bill 6 in Austin this past session. I'm an LGBTQ plus nonprofit leader and a queer activist. And I'll make sure that Senator Colthurst, who was one of the authors, if not the lead author, behind the 2017 bathroom bill, and was behind all of the anti-trans sports bills this past session, I'm going to make sure to give her a run for her money, because I'm going to stand for our entire community. So those are some of the things that I want to fight for. But I want to talk a little bit more about how I got here and why I'm running. I'm not a career politician. I don't come from money. Right now I work for $17 an hour at the Texas A&M Forest Service, so I'm a state employee. I'm proud to be a recent union member. I started the job back in July, so I'm new because I'm new there, with the Texas State Employees Union. And like I said, I drive about an hour to work and back. So I don't have a whole lot of time, and I don't have a whole lot of money that it takes to run these kinds of things. What I have is the willingness to share what I do have, to speak up and make sure that my neighbors do have a voice. Again, when I saw that nobody else was running against some of these elected officials, somebody had to do something about this. And I don't know if y'all have noticed lately, but with some of these elected officials we got right now, the bar is kind of low. And I promise that y'all are more qualified than you think. And I mean y'all sitting here in front of me, and y'all are on the camera. So you're more qualified than you think. Your friends, the people that you know that somebody's got a sharp wit, they've got a compassionate heart, they are more qualified than they think. In 2024, it's a little bit late to get on the ballot for 22. But in 2024, we cannot have this many empty spots on the ballot. We've got to all run for something. That's why I'm proud to be endorsed. That's why I'm proud to be endorsed by Run for Something. And now, they're a group that recruits and trains young progressive candidates from diverse backgrounds. And it wasn't just them who helped launch me here. So I think it was Carla who was saying about that women candidates in particular, we asked 7 times to run for office. Run for Something was the one who was asking me again and again through their online activism. But one of the people who I'm so happy is here today was Ginny Sue. She was one of the first people who recommended that I run for state senate. And talked to me a lot about the logistics of running for office and for such a big office. 18 counties, that's a lot. That's a lot of miles to go, y'all. But Ginny encouraged me because, like that reason that resonated with me from the beginning was somebody's got to do it. If I don't do it, who else will? And we deserve to have folks standing up for us and for our neighbors. So I want to end with what is it that not what I need. What is it that we need? So, of course, if you want to support my campaign, I do not have any primary opponents, so I will be facing off against Senator Coulter's in the general election this November. What we need most for our campaign is, of course, if you've got the ability to contribute to put gas in the tank, quite literally. It's a good, 5 hours from College Station down to here when we left this morning. So that money, goes far. I am grassroots funded. I have not accepted a single dollar from any corporations or executives. And it's all from small dollar donations from folks like us. But really, the thing that I need most is every single dollar, every single volunteer hour. What all of that is for is to spread the word. Let folks know that there's somebody out here fighting for them. Let somebody know that there are technology. Sorry?
Thank you for stepping up.
And thank you for being here, because that's the perfect segue here. It's like where I would say, where I vouch again and again, the 2 steps to change the world are to show up and then to keep showing up. If you've all shown up today, make sure that you keep showing up. Whether that's putting in time with a campaign to help that candidate, especially first-time candidates who are figuring out how to do this thing. We're learning on the fly. I'm so grateful for my campaign manager helping me keep my head on straight. But we need support. We need folks in our corner. We need folks to remind us why we're doing this when things are really hard and nobody answered my calls today. It's difficult. I'm not going to pretend that it's easy. But when the odds are against your favor, everyone expects that you're not going to win. You can't possibly lose. Because every single thing I do, and every single hand that I shake, every single person that registers, because I reminded them to do it on time, that's a win. All I can do is go from up. When they're consistent, I'm already sitting here on the ground, the sky's the limit, right? So if you know anybody who might remotely be of interest and who cares about the community, consider encouraging them to run for office. Support somebody who is running for office. Be there for them. Just moral support is great. My campaign, we need folks to read the news. If something interesting happens in Rockport, y'all gonna find out a lot faster than I will, and I need to know about it. So our communities are pretty, there's a lot of miles between Somerville and Rockport, but we're a lone community drawn by these district lines. And I like to think that all Texans are neighbors, because we are, and we gotta think like that. And so if every one of us helps to connect that greater whole and to be neighbors, be there for each other. So I imagine y'all have similar stories. I know that after Hurricane Harvey, my husband came down to help some family friends here in the Rockport area by bringing extra blankets and things that we had, because their house had been destroyed and their stuff was not recoverable. And then during the big freeze, our elderly neighbors, we were carrying literal buckets of water because their well had frozen. And the pipes in between, carrying buckets of water to their house so they had water to drink and flush with. And then they shared, he was a retired master plumber, and shared his tools with us so we could fix our pipes after it all thawed after. And that kind of being there for our neighbors, it's that's what we need. In the world of electoral politics, that means showing up to vote, dragging 17 people that you have to go and vote, persuading them to get registered, telling them why it matters. Why does it matter to you? You all came here for a reason. You showed up. Help somebody else to show up for the first time and then keep showing up. Thank you so much for being here. And if I may, one more thing. So I'm going to be in the area all weekend. In fact, on Saturday, we'll be in Victoria doing a blood drive from 11 a.m. till 4 p.m. So, come and find us. If you check me out on Facebook or on our website, you will find the instructions there. We need folks to sign up. Blood drives are an important form of community service because it's always staying local in your community, and it's being there for your neighbors before they need it, in that moment when they really, really need it the most. I'm sure you all know that there is a national shortage on the blood supply. When I spoke with some folks, in South Texas, blood and tissue recently, they told me that they're operating on about a 2-3 day supply, if they're lucky, of blood in Texas, and it's going right out the door as soon as they receive it. They told me about 24-hour turnaround from the time that they're receiving it to it's being delivered to a hospital in the area to a patient in need. And so this is one of the best ways, on top of voting, one of the most sacred duties that we have, to be there for each other when we need it most. So if you're going to be in the Victoria area, or if you can swing on by, come and see me again, and be there for your community. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to everyone online.
Thank you for taking on the lady.
Thank you so much. So,
Please get her out.
So in researching Senator Colbert's legislative history, it kind of comes again and again. And like, well, what was her stance on? Of course, she voted for that one. And what did she stand on? Well, of course, she's not on that list. And she really has been complicit in the harm that happens to us, especially in the 2021 legislative session. And I really think that after her first election was back in 2000, she got to the state as a state representative back then, before he had to keep his shoes off at the airport. So it's been a minute. The world's a little bit different than it was back then. And I just feel like it's time for us to have someone other than a career politician sitting in that seat there. And I hope to be a United States Senator. If anyone else has any questions, I'm going to be here until the last person's out, I think. So come and find me. I'd love to meet all of you. Thank you for being
Josh,
here.
I would like you to meet someone that's running for us. Come up here. Victor's running for alderman in Fulton City Council.
Nice to meet you,
Victor,
Victor.
this is Josh. So I'd like somebody who's going to run for something.
What I would like to say is basically that I'm running for city council, Alderman Waiter too, and Bolton. And I appreciate everybody coming to this meeting. All of you. I've learned so much from everyone. And, you can't beautify the beauty on it. The Bolton already has so much to offer everybody. We have so much. And the thing is that I think we can be better. I think we can make the community even better than Rockport. But I'm going to do my best. And I said I've run for alderman before. And like I said, I think we can make things better. I don't have much to say today. I didn't come prepared. I didn't know if
He did bring our firewood too. Thank you, Victor.
all the people that live here in Aransas County, you know people that live in Tutt, all me, Dylan, others, if they give me a shot, we're ready for city council. All right, thank you.
Thank you. And now we know for Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming.